Let's talk about some unfair critiques that are directed at California Adventure constantly that drive me up the wall. We're going to talk about it up next. Hey everybody, welcome aboard to another episode of Orange Grove 55. Got my buddy Grogu right here, and we're coming at you with another video. This one's going to be about DCA. Now, before I get into DCA and some critiques about this park from fans that drive me up the wall, I do want to give a quick little programming note. I was on Disney Family Man 23's channel the other day, and we gave an honest review of the products over at the Magic Candle Company. Link up above. This was a fantastic conversation. It was a really honest review. There was a lot of good in these products, and there was some bad as well. And a lot of content creators are sponsored by Magic Candle Company, so you never really get a true honest review many times in regard to this. But we're not sponsored by them. So this was like just a real honest review. And I think it was really fantastic. I'm really proud of the conversation we had. So again, check it out when you get the chance. All right. So let's get down to DCA. There are a lot of critiques that are lobbied at this park that drive me up the wall. Okay. And I'm going to go over a few of them with you. Okay. Number one, the park isn't about California anymore. I don't know why they don't just change the name to Disney Adventure Park. This one drives me up the wall. Look, there are multiple ways you can address a California theme. Now, DCA 1.0, the angle that it chose for the theme was a more, trying to basically recreate the state of California, like a Cliff Notes version of the state, right? And that was a bad strategy. That was a bad direction for the California theme, because you're never going to be able to realistically compete with the real California. You're not going to ever build a body of water in that space that's going to be more impressive than the real Pacific Ocean. You're not going to build a Golden Gate Bridge that's going to be more impressive than the actual Golden Gate Bridge. So that whole model, that whole idea, that whole approach for DCA 1.0 was very, very flawed. Okay. But there's not just one approach to the California theme. Since DCA has been reimagined in 2012, they've taken a much different approach. The theme now is still California, but it's California as seen through kind of a Disney lens. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, in California, Route 66 and car culture is very prominent. Okay, in California history. So instead of trying to recreate that in a literal sense, we have Cars Land, right? Which is seen through the Disney Pixar movie, Cars. Okay. Instead of a literal representation of the city of Los Angeles, we have kind of like an amalgamation of Los Angeles as seen through the eyes of like Walt Disney, right? Sort of this Disney version of the city, right? Instead of rebuilding Santa Monica Pier or something like it, they're keeping it California with having that seaside pier, but they're telling you that story through Pixar and the Pixar characters. So these are all very California things: a pier, Los Angeles, Route 66, car culture. It's all California. Just because they use Disney characters to kind of tell that California theme doesn't make it any less California. Just like having Mickey Mouse dress up in an astronaut costume doesn't negate the fact that he's an astronaut. Okay? If you have Mickey Mouse in an astronaut costume in Tomorrowland, it's still space related, even though it's an IP, right? Same idea here. It drives me nuts when fans say the park is not about California anymore. It's absolutely about California. It's just being told through that Disney lens. That's it. That's the only difference, you guys. All the themes are there. All the themes are very California. It's just being seen and told through that Disney IP lens. That's the only change. Okay. So that's number one. Okay, number 2. California Adventure is just such a small park, so quaint and small. Okay, look, California Adventure is not the biggest park in the world by no means. Okay, and it is smaller than Disneyland. But in terms of California theme parks, it's actually a pretty decent size. Acreage wise, California is bigger than Knott's Berry Farm. And I don't know the exact acreage in terms of the theme park space at Universal Studios Hollywood, but I would guess DCA's probably has more theme park acreage than Universal Hollywood. It's a little harder to judge Universal Hollywood because they have a lot of that studio space that is not open to the public. But I would bet the actual theme park space at Universal Hollywood is less than that of California Adventure. And I know the ride count is less than California Adventure. California Adventure, in terms of ride count, in terms of acreage, is not that small when you're comparing it to California parks. It really, really isn't. And even in terms of like its roster, its attraction count, I mean, California Adventure even outperforms a lot of the Orlando Walt Disney World parks in terms of ride count. So this whole notion like, oh, California Adventure is so small and somehow that makes it like a lesser park. Well, it's smaller than Disneyland. Yeah. It's got less rides than Disneyland. Yeah. But a lot of the Florida parks have less rides than Disneyland. So what the fuck does that even mean? It means nothing. Absolutely nothing. So the park is a smaller park, yes, but that doesn't make it a lesser park. And it's still bigger and still has more to do than a lot of other California parks, aside from Disneyland. Okay. And then the next thing that really bothers me, this is a critique that a lot of fans lobby towards California Adventure. And this is probably the most common one that I've seen. And it's BS too. It was stupid to have a park themed to California in California. Who would want to go to a California theme park in California? Now, first of all, DCA 2.0 addresses that issue with what I said with my first critique was it's California as seen through a Disney lens. So you're not going to get this version of California anywhere else. It's a very Disney exclusive kind of experience now, right? They've fixed that DCA 1.0 problem. But even just the general idea of a California park in California, Disney has done this kind of stuff before. You go to Disneyland Paris. They have Fantasyland in Disneyland Paris. What do you think that whole entire land is based off of? European fairy tales. But Orange Grove, why would you want to visit a European land when you're in Europe? I don't know. Why would you? Right? I mean, look, that's the thing. It's a European themed land, Fantasyland, in Europe. Some of those fairy tales take place in France. In France. No one mentions that, though. No one mentions that. Shanghai Disneyland. Shanghai Disneyland. Bob Iger came out, I believe, on opening day of Shanghai Disneyland Resort saying it's authentically Disney and distinctively Chinese. And what he means by that is that they incorporated a lot of Chinese culture and architecture into the design work for Shanghai Disneyland. Well, why would the Chinese want something very Chinese in China, right? Obviously, there's a market for that. Obviously, there's a market for California Park in California. Obviously, there's a market for European-themed lands in Europe. Okay, so this whole notion that California in California makes no sense. Well, Disney's done that a million times, or at least a few times in their theme park history with other areas of the world. So this is the thing, and this bothers me because I see a lot of this kind of unfair criticism lobbied at California Adventure. Another one that drives me nuts is how the hypersensitivity people have when it comes to the theming in California Adventure. Like, for example, at Disneyland, you can have a monorail circling the Swiss Alps, the Matterhorn. Makes no sense. Theme-wise, it makes no sense to have the monorail circling the Matterhorn. But God forbid you have the red car trolley stop in Avengers Campus. Pearl clutch, and the fandom goes freaking nuts over it, right? It's a double standard. Okay. DCA is held to such an incredibly high standard Okay, I don't know why. Even Disneyland isn't held to the standard DCA is. It's really bizarre. But DCA, in my opinion, is a fantastic park. I absolutely love DCA. I really do enjoy watching this park grow and evolve. I do think it has a bright future ahead of it. I'm really looking forward to seeing that Avengers e-ticket, which will happen. I'm certain of it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Disneyland Forward and that Hollywoodland whole area. It has a bright future. I just wish the fans would be a little more fair on this park, because sometimes the critiques lobbied towards this park are really unfair, and really kind of there's a lot of like a almost like a double standard when it comes to DCA in regards to other parks. So drives me up the wall. But comment down below if I'm totally wrong. Let me know. If I'm totally right, let me know. If it's a mixed bag, let me know. Smash that like button. Have a little class and subscribe. Come on, subscribe. I would love to hear from you guys. Comment down below. And as always, have a wonderful day.